into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Oh my gosh, it feels so good to be back! Welcome, guys. If you're listening, this is the SNL After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. I'm your host, Danny Hoyt, joined by these ladies.
Hi.
Introduce yourselves. What's your names? Who are you? Let us hear you.
I was waiting for some kind of elaborate intro.
Okay, let's do it with this. And to the lady to my left.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Crossman. You can follow me at Kim Crossman.
And I'm Katie Wilbert, and you can follow me on all things at Katie Wilbert.
All things.
Yeah. Oh, you know what?
What?
I did something new.
What?
I opened up my Snapchat to the public. So since we're talking about where people can follow, not only can I've always said you can follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Instagram at Danny Hoyt, but I have a Snapchat and it's public now. This is a new thing.
Wow, I don't have Snapchat, so I'm missing out on all the cool things that you do.
It's a cool. I haven't like publicly really written it anywhere. I've just kind of said it a couple times. It's at Danny Hoyt 47.
But now it's a formal announcement. This is
Okay.
Kinda. You know, I wanted to give these people, the SNL listeners, the first,
that's nice.
the first run. That, and I do the Bachelorette after show, so I talked about it on there. I also want to thank Christina Million's mother and their crew, who was taping a show before this, who left some beautiful Moscato.
Well, they gave it to him. They didn't just leave it.
Yeah. So thank you, Miss Million. I'm gonna get turned up.
Turned up.
I don't know if you guys know,
what?
because that's her show, Christina Million.
Oh.
I see what
Got
you did
it.
there.
See what I did there.
Well, we'll be hydrated with our water.
There you go.
Cheers.
We're here to talk SNL, guys. We had a couple weeks off after the huge. I think SNL needed a couple weeks off after that giant 40th anniversary.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how many hours. I would love to see a breakdown of how many hours they put into the 40th versus what they put into a normal show. Like, let's say they put, hypothetically speaking, let's say you put 73 hours into a normal show, okay? How many hours do you think they put into the 40th? If 73 is a normal Saturday, average.
200.
Like, right? Like, it's got to be more than double normal.
Oh, definitely.
I wonder if they hire other people to come on specifically for large anniversary shows such as this, because they extended out the bleachers and things like that, and there's just so much more going into it that I wonder if they hire on extra staff for
I'm sure.
anything and everything that they need.
Yeah.
How about this, guys? We'll get answers to that question when we have future guests on. A little teaser for you listeners out there. We'll get some real answers. But let's dive in and talk about tonight. First of all, I want to give a shout out to some people that are on the chat roll. If you guys are listening live, please chat with us on the chat roll. I see some people already talking about our photo. This is the bumper that the lovely Sasha, is it Napf? I want to say it correctly.
Nope.
Napf?
Want to say it correctly?
Took the photo, and then our very own Katie Wilbert put this together and edited this.
Thank you.
Can we get a round of applause for Katie Wilbert, ladies and gentlemen?
Thank you.
Thank you to the in-studio audience.
I've really been honing in on my photoshopping skills, and
killing
it
it.
felt appropriate for having Dakota Johnson on for the 50 Shades.
Yeah, I'm channeling my Christian Grey here is what I'm trying to do. If you guys want to see this again, we've all shouted out our names. You can see it on our Instagrams.
I'm channeling every breakup I've had.
Yeah, there's a lot of rage coming from me.
Speaking of Dakota Johnson, let's people are saying I should use this picture and try and get on the Bachelorette. That's funny. Interesting. Thanks for that, chat row. Love you guys. And if you're listening on iTunes and you downloaded this podcast, which I had somebody come up to me this week, actually at Bible study. Her name is Brookie Peoples. So Brookie, if you're listening, thank you so much. She said she listens to us every week as she's driving around. She's like, I don't have time to sit and watch your show, but I want to talk about this with people who care about it.
Cool.
So I think that's awesome. So thank you guys that do that. If you're listening, we try to differentiate our voices so you guys can tell us apart and try not to like talk over each other.
We're working on that. And also make sure you use the hashtag ABTVSNL if you want to, keep up to date or interact with us during the week too.
We're on SoundCloud too.
Yeah, we're all over the place.
Everywhere.
Dakota Johnson. Guys, I wasn't sure how she was going to do when they announced it. I have to be honest. I was kind of iffy
Okay, why though? What are your thoughts about it? What are your reservations?
I guess I never watched Ben and Kate.
Okay.
So I didn't know much about her. And what was she in besides Ben and Kate? She was in there's another thing that she was kind of a staple in.
She was in 21 or 22 Jump Street for like a brief moment.
Yeah, she was in something else too. And anyways, I think I didn't know a lot about her, so I was kind of like, and I still have not seen the movie. You guys have.
We saw it on Valentine's Day. Yeah. We made a whole spectacle of going and watching 50 Shades of Grey.
Okay.
And you know what? We enjoyed it. So anyone who's going to poo-poo on it, it's totally fine. But we were entertained.
Yeah, and I think we might be the minority looking at, some of the comments from people who did watch the episode.
Yeah.
And they're like, she's awkward and weird and we don't get her humor. I actually think she's great. She's a great actress.
I love that she was kind of giggly and adorable.
Yeah.
I don't know. It made me like her more because I felt like she was comfortable making fun of herself and she felt light and easy to watch. Like, she felt like she was sort of game to be a part of it. And I guess her energy was fun for me because I felt like she was really enjoying herself. And so I was going along with it.
And I mean, here's the thing, like she's taken on a role that was never going to be easy for anyone to do. And I think she's done it with kind of grace and kind of this attitude of like, guys, let's get over it. Like,
like, I know I'm naked a lot, like, and my parents can't see it. We get the drill.
And I feel like it's just every interview or every opportunity anyone has to speak with her, it's just the dig about like, oh, you're naked. Even one critique was kind of saying like the girl who's only famous for being in her underwear. And it's like, I don't know. I guess I'm a fan of her. I think that she's great. I think it's a hard job to host something like this, but in terms of her acting throughout it, I thought that she was great and enjoyable.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive right in. What
did you think?
Well, I'm gonna go sketch by sketch. I don't know if overall I was very pleased.
Okay.
I thought it was
with the episode or with her.
I think she was good. I think the episode was boring.
I agree.
But I can't completely blame it on the writers. There's a couple sketches, and we'll dive into this specifically. But there wasn't a lot going on in the last couple weeks. There was, there was Jon Stewart. I thought we'd maybe do something like that with the political open. I thought that was bigger than Rudy Giuliani. Maybe they're saving it for Chris Hemsworth. I'm not sure. There's a couple things that I was a little confused by, but some sketches I feel like they just were pulling stuff out of their butt. Before we get to that, though, I do want to talk about, we had some comments on our 40th anniversary, on our special. We had some haters. Oh. And so just want to give a nod to the haters. Karina, who said, 4 morons, welcome to American media. Karina, we just want to say thanks so much for watching. We appreciate you. And, it's okay if you think we're morons. Sometimes it's fun to be a moron, and I will gladly take that. We just appreciate that you took the time to watch us. So thanks.
In an improv scene, actually being the loser is...
The winner. That's a biblical principle. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first.
So...
also,
thank you, Karina.
Yeah, thank you, Karina. Also, Joseph Boza always gives us a great review, so we're a big fan of him. He's actually on the chat roll right now. He was really complimentary of you ladies, and Kelly as well, who we're missing tonight, obviously.
Oh, Kelly.
She's got family in town. And then also, we got, instead of AfterBuzz, Carlos Lozada called us After Scuzz. So, thanks, Carlos.
Now, in Italian, I've heard that scuzz is another word for love.
So
thank you.
After love.
After love.
Before, after, during. We're here for all the love,
We're here for you, Carlos. Sending you so much scuzz.
Last but not least, flashy and fabulous. Great handle, by the way. You look like you're standing on a bridge in the middle of an icy lake, which is an awesome photo. Hopefully that's on your Instagram, because that's great. She says, I'm so sorry. I was into this video until you guys suggested that 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover was, in all caps, new Miley Cyrus song. Holy smokes, whoa, that's depressing. I'll take this one because I'm the one who said that as the host. But we corrected it not 4 minutes and 37 seconds later from a tweet from Jigga J. Rich, correcting that's actually where that came from, that was an ode. So
what a teamwork moment that was.
Yeah, teamwork moment. Thank you for pointing that out. We appreciate it. Yeah. And thanks for being a fellow fan and watcher. So there we go.
Way to go.
Just want to highlight that. There we go.
People need some notice. I get it.
Yeah. We are 9 minutes in and we haven't really talked about this.
No, let's...
This cold open, Rudy Giuliani slash Birdman. What did you guys think of this?
Well, I think that, and this might be a common trend throughout this episode, I think there were some hits and there were a lot of misses. For me, this was a miss. I still haven't seen Birdman yet. I understood it was a reference from that, and I was not up to date with this specific political thing. I knew that there was something that he said, but I haven't been following it actively. I didn't know it was a big enough deal to, like, let's open the show like that. So, I mean, I thought it was well shot. I noticed that the wings he was wearing looked very similar to those from Victoria's Secret. I was like, they're great wings. I liked Dakota's Emma Stone. I thought that was a great. Like, she looked really great, but yeah, I didn't rate this super highly.
Nor I. Yeah, and I was trying to figure out if Taryn was doing a Giuliani impression or a Michael Keaton impression, or Giuliani as Michael Keaton.
I think it was Giuliani as, what I understood it was Giuliani as Michael Keaton.
Because I understood, obviously, at the top he was just Giuliani, and then it felt like way more Michael Keaton the whole time.
Well, okay, so what it says technically is Rudy Giuliani, played by Taron Killam, who became Michael Keaton, complete with a winged alter ego, played by Beck Bennett.
Okay, so that was intentionally just Michael Keaton, because I was like, cool, I've lost Giuliani entirely during the Birdman section, which is fine if that's what they were going for. I think that was my question mark for it. But I didn't feel like the cold open was very punchy, and I think that it just felt sort of...
It was shot cool.
It was going to say, it was shot, it was props to them because they shot it. I mean, and even like Taron's acting down to like his things he brushed off when Beck Bennett was saying things behind his ear. They must have rehearsed this. They had it down. They nailed it. I think for me, it was like an okay topical matter. I will say, I didn't see that left turn coming. When they first like were sitting down with Giuliani, I thought it was going to be like a funny interview. Maybe Dakota comes in pre-monologue, which we don't always get to see. But it took a left turn, which I was proud of. I think for me it just wasn't humor. It was more just like cool to watch. So I can't knock it. For me, it fell in the B's probably somewhere because simply it was shot very cool. What do you guys think?
That's a good point.
I would say like a B.
I give it I think more of a C for me, just because I guess the gags didn't flow with me, and if I was looking at the good things, I would say how it was shot, but I wasn't like, oh.
Yeah, I gave it a C just as far as cold opens.
Like when we go see, we're like, we're sorry.
It's so apologetic. We wanted to like it so much. Good job on your camera work.
I will say something cool that we saw. We got to see Dakota Johnson. Apparently, from people that were at the show, the audience didn't even clap when we got to see her. Like nobody, and I don't know if it was because of her blonde hair. Like, why do you guys think that is? People didn't even react. I don't know if they realized it was her.
Maybe they didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think 50 Shades has begun to make her more of a name that you'd recognize, but some people still might hear it and be like, Who's Dakota Johnson?
Yeah.
Is that how the majority of America talks?
That's how America speaks.
I was picturing like an older gentleman in a rocking chair being like, honey.
Well, and the first time to show her, in a wig looking different, so that might have been it.
I read something that was interesting. They said this recap is going to be sarcasm-free. It was a recap I was reading because Johnson deserves to be judged not on what she does tonight, or to be judged on what she does tonight, not due to her association with a movie that many of us will not see. I probably won't see this movie unless it happens to be on Netflix and I have literally nothing on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
But I probably won't. And it's not that I have anything against it. It just doesn't do it for me. I know you guys did. And so I judged it. I think this will be interesting to see how this plays out because you guys saw the movie and were fans of it. I think it'll be interesting to see how it plays out because I don't care. And it's not. I'm not for it or against it. I just was kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna base my judgments just off her performance tonight.
Sure.
So I think it'll be interesting to see, and I thought that was really cool what they said. That made sense. So let's go into the opening monologue here.
She didn't do a song.
She didn't. Were you? Did she sing?
It's not that. It's just that usually when they have actors who don't have a lot of stuff to fall back on, and Katie's like, "Ay."
I picture if she sang, her voice would have been a very like
she probably
Zooey Deschanel type voice. Is what I picked. Like crooner. I'm Dakota Johnson and I kind of like sex.
Monologue songs are the worst thing in the world. I just think if you're someone who cannot sing, like don't. There's other things to be done for sure.
Well.
So,
she gets in, and I'm always a fan of when they do a Q&A. I think that's funny. I thought it was actually kind of funny that Kyle Mooney stands up and then asks a very serious question, but in his S&M garb. I don't know. I thought that was good. I didn't see that coming.
Can you please sign my wife's ball gag? Yeah. I thought that was great.
And what the coolest part that I thought this was really neat was that her mom hosted in December of 1998 or 1988, and then her dad proposed to her after the show. I thought they made a little bit too big of a deal of like, and they may have had me like after or conceived me during, who knows. But I think it was cool that they shot to her parents. How'd you guys feel about that?
I think that they were always going to have to put in the sexual gags. No pun intended there.
That's awesome.
See what I did?
I like the hand movement to this number.
So I feel like, you got your quota of them. That's what the audience is going to expect. I liked how they did pan and shoot her parents, too. I think, if anything, that's been really popular is the viral video of her mother and her, this really awkward, have you guys seen that awkward interview?
I was hoping they would do a sketch on that.
Well, I felt like this was like, they're redeeming that, like there's her parents supporting her. I don't know. That's kind of what I thought it was. I was like, oh, interesting that they're addressing that, but not addressing it. I liked that one person clapped and she acknowledged it. Like for me, like if you're an actor and you would be so nervous, the fact that she was able to call something out and go back into it, I actually felt like she did a really great
to be that present and to be comfortable enough to acknowledge a moment and continue with the teleprompter and rock it.
Sure, that just means she probably rehearsed enough, you could tell, and she was comfortable. She was like back into it.
And she did feel really comfortable, like, and excited, but I didn't get nervousness from her at all, and I liked that her parents were there, and I felt like, I guess I was trying to imagine being her and having my parents in the audience, like, and having the camera pan to them. And I thought, just like, what a cool special moment for her and her family too.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think she felt a little bored to me, and she felt like in the opening monologue, like she knows she didn't have a lot of punchy jokes. I think it's good, and I still rate it a B. She almost seemed to me like she wasn't 100% pleased with like maybe the writing. Like there wasn't a standout moment. There was an happy moment for including her parents. It was more of like a sentimental thing, as opposed to like, oh my god, that was a great joke, like they included her parents. The best joke was her dad being like, we thought you were gonna be naked.
I don't know, I disagree.
Really?
Because I think that she has this kind of awkward humor that's taking the piss. I can't remember if you guys say that or not.
We talked about this on our show.
Yes, okay.
And we did it.
So yeah, I feel like her rhythm is more just her comedy of her being like, oh.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't know. I think that's more her rhythm. It's like a Kristen Stewart kind of situation. Like
interesting.
Her comment, like she has her level of awkward that's her own way of humoring.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I thought she was endearing, but then I guess there's a slight bias coming from me because I think the more that like interviews and stuff I've watched of her, I've been like, oh, I like you. But yeah, I guess in that vein, it did feel more sentimental than like what a funny monologue.
Yeah, sure.
But I think the humor did come from her and not as much from the jokes that they'd given her.
Okay.
That's how she plays it in the movie too, and I think
really?
She has these kind of like funny comedic moments that feel her, not acting. Like
I think watching her as much as I have, that you get a sense for her comedic timing that way, and that it's just a sort of natural awkwardness.
Let's move on to the next
one.
How's
that one?
We're
just like talking about, isn't Dakota great? And Danny's like, good God.
Good God. I can see why Christina Million's all turned up, because this wine her mom gave me is...
It looks like wheeze. It looks like wheeze after emergency.
Hey, Kimberly Crossman from New Zealand. What is wheeze?
When you pee.
Moving on.
You guys don't call it wheeze? No. My mother's going to hate that.
People are chiming in on the chat roll saying they give the opening monologue a B because Kyle was hilarious during the Q&A. I completely agree. And this is a good point. EDM702000, who's a big fan. I know he follows us on Instagram and tweets us all the time. But he says, I think it was the main focus of the writers to write as many sex jokes as they can. I think that was evident we saw in several of the sketches, like there's this kind of play on it. And I know that's the big thing that's topical about her. I didn't feel like, and let's sidetrack this for a second, I didn't feel like they overdid the 50 Shades of Grey thing. It didn't feel like, okay, God, another one. I think they did a good amount. It was apparent, but it wasn't overdone. Agree? Disagree?
Agree.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of funny ones, like the dog leash and how the dog walker looks at her differently.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they didn't shove it in our face and force us to like play with it. They didn't dangle it and all around our face and like force us to like love.
They didn't dangle it around our faces. Yeah.
And then one more from EDM70, lots of numbers. Do you think Dakota Johnson is trying to basically not stand out from her parents' shadow and be her own name?
I think that's
a legit question.
Yeah.
I think it's happening naturally. I mean,
okay.
I think she'll find her way, and I'm sure her parents want her to find her own way too. I mean, yeah, I don't feel like it's a thing that she's got to like bust out of the mold and.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right, now let's dive in through these sketches. Digital short. This one probably got the most heat of any sketches the entire night. Heat in a good way and bad way. This is a polarizing. This was probably the best thing that could have happened.
This was the dress of the sketch show.
This was the dress of the sketch show. This was the llamas of the sketch show. Like, it got people talking, and I don't think anybody was just impartial. You either loved it or you hated it. This is the digital short about the ISIS recruitment, mocking the Toyota commercial. Nobody saw this left turn coming till the very end. The problem with this sketch, and if you didn't see it, she's riding in a car with Taran Killam. He's playing her father. He's dropping her off, basically saying, you're going to be okay. And she's reassuring him, yes, yes, yes. And then it cuts and the music goes silent. And she goes, Dad, it's just ISIS. And you look over and it's Kyle Mooney as an ISIS member. And they're in the back of this white truck with like guns blazing.
We'll take it from here, Dad.
ISIS flags.
Yeah, ISIS flags and screaming and hooting and hollering. So it was, I kind of loved it. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I loved it.
I wasn't mad about it.
I hated that I enjoyed it.
Really?
That's the problem. Because here's the thing, is I haven't been paying too close attention to the news.
Well, let me recap you on this then. Just in this last week, there were girls from Canada and I wrote it down.
Colorado.
Yeah, Canada and Colorado that were teenagers that were said to have recruited and ran away with ISIS. So, if you saw that.
Yeah, I caught up on that when we were watching the show because I was like, I'm obviously missing something. I know ISIS is a thing. I'm aware of that. But I think to the degree that they were poking fun at it, I wasn't quite sure. But I think my naivety towards that allowed me to also think it was funny because I haven't been watching the news.
Oh, it's real.
Yeah, I haven't been watching, so I don't honestly know what's been going on. And I'm sure there's terrible stuff. There are terrorists. So... Yeah, but I think because of that, I was able to laugh at it and be like, oh, haha, as opposed to being 100% informed and then having the consciousness of being like, ow.
It was 3 British girls and 4 Canadians, all teenagers, are believed to have run off to join ISIS, which is a real story that happened this week. It's fresh.
Yeah. And I did look at some of the comments of what people were saying in regards to their opinions against the sketch. And I think people's sensitivity was that ISIS is a terrorist organization who are, torturing and killing people, Americans. And I get the argument. I do.
Totally.
I'm not like, oh, you're so silly for feeling that way. Like, it makes sense. I think there's a fine line, too, with comedy, though, that there's certain things that are uncomfortable and topical that I guess the nice thing about comedy is that we're allowed to laugh at it, even if it's wrong.
Yeah. I think it's a hard thing to make light of, to bring a joke out of. It's very, you got to be very careful how you did it. And I thought this was an okay way to do it. I think it was an okay way to do it. It wasn't a knock on ISIS. It wasn't making a political stance. It was just purely making light of what ISIS is. I think that what they ran into, had this story not happened this week, with 3 girls, or several girls, I guess, running off, I don't think it's as touchy of a subject.
Yeah.
But I want to read these 2 tweets. Bean from PA, at Bean from PA says, #SNL ISIS skit goes to show why I quit watching this garbage show years ago, ... Also, at MLyle2 says, I'm going to go ahead and voice my opinion on the SNL ISIS skit. Absolutely hell no under any circumstances. Poor, poor taste. Taran Killam, who was in the sketch, replies, and this is a public tweet. Doesn't reply, I'm sorry. He just writes this. Proud of this. Freedom to mock is our greatest weapon. Thanks to the writers who asked not to be mentioned by name. Perfectly played by Taran. How does that make you guys feel?
I agree, to be honest. And I mean, that's part of what makes America great too, is that we have freedom of speech. And I think comedy should be a safe place where we can all go to laugh about things that make us uncomfortable.
Sure.
And I think that it helps inform people, because a lot of comedy is honesty and information. But I also think that it presents information in a way that is palatable.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I think if there's any format to have a discussion or something, or allow people to laugh at something that's horrible, because sometimes you just need the catharsis that...
I mean, shoot, Giuliani was on the top of the show. We saw last week on the 40th, or 2 weeks ago on the 40th anniversary, where they played the footage from the 9/11 thing, when he was the one who said, can we laugh at this now, and talked about that joke, like that was necessary at the time, and that was something that happened to us.
Yeah.
Not that ISIS isn't happening to us. We're still involved in it, but like I think you hit it the head on there, Katie. Basically, like it's a big deal to be able to do this, and SNL is in the forefront of places we can laugh about this together.
And they staged it well too, like making it a left turn and stuff, so you're not expecting it, and it kind of hits quickly, and then it's moving on to the next one.
Yeah,
that's kind of a good way to set it up. I really liked the acting in the top of the head, like the beginning of that whole thing. I was like, oh, this is kind of like, this is cute and sweet. So I think that they used a good format of that sketch to be able to address it and then throw it away. So
I think so too.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the Cinderella sketch here, featuring Cecily Strong's gruff maid character, Kathy Ann. I'm just going to say what I think, and then I want you guys to tell me what you think.
Cool.
This, up until later, this was my least favorite sketch of the night. I think Cecily is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I don't mind this character, but this is the second sketch in a row it's fallen way short. The last one was when they were in like the graveyard cemetery, and she ends up like kissing the guy. I can't remember who the host was off the top of my head. It was like 3 or 4
James
ago.
Franco
James Franco. And then this one, like it was boring.
I agree.
That's my opinion.
I think the character is funny, and she has moments with the "See you in Thursday"
See you in
things,
Thursday
like
is great.
the catchphrase and stuff she uses. And her as a character, she's so true to it, and it's great.
Yeah.
But I thought the premise of the Cinderella thing, it was so yawn.
Like why Cinderella? Is there a Cinderella coming out? Are they just bored? And
actually, yeah.
Yeah.
When?
Oh, yeah, that's...
I don't know when it comes out, but there's a movie coming out. So
I still didn't do it for
maybe
me.
that makes sense. But
I thought the funniest bit was when he's like, "Just tell me your name," like, and then she goes on. And he's like, "But you could have said it." Like
you clearly had time to say it by now.
Yeah, so I was like, that was funny for me. I was like, that, but that was the saving grace in it.
I agree with you. That was funny to me because that's what I was thinking, and then he said it, and I was like, wait, maybe there's more to the sketch.
Yeah.
I was hoping there was another punch.
Yeah.
Had there been another punch that takes it up into like the B range, but for me it was like a D+. Like,
it was just really stale, and I didn't understand why there. Like, why did you put her there?
Yeah.
I think there are far better places that character could be. And it also, I think, too, it's like a time jump. Like, why is this maid character...
Sure.
And she's not dressed like the time period. It just felt like... I don't know if I would have even gone with it more had they made her look more time period maid.
Can I tell you what sidetracked me?
Yeah.
I was just watching to see if she actually lit her cigarette. She pretended like she was going to, and I know she
so many times.
I know she can't actually, but like it's there, and there's clearly no wind, and it's like here. I know it's like a play, but that's what I was watching. Like, oh, she might actually accidentally light this thing mid sketch because she was trying so hard.
It obviously was not a hit then. If we're like, oh, look at these other things that are happening
that's
outside.
what I was watching.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I give it a C, and that's generous. I'm now going to make it a D.
Guys, this is a big moment.
What?
EDM 70 20,000 went from saying, I'll make it easy for you, Danny, just say 70 2000. Then he goes, I wanted EDM 7324, but somebody took it. Then he goes, the count is no longer, I can change it. Woohoo. Rest in peace, EDM 70 20,000. I'm back with EDM 7324. There we go.
What?
You guys aren't even following. This is a big deal. He talks to me all the time. He favorites all of my stuff and replies to me all the time on Twitter. And he just got the screen name he wanted. Congratulations, my friend. That's a big deal. Round of applause for you.
We're on board now. We didn't understand it. Now we do.
He's a fan that is always on here and always talking to us.
This is wonderful.
So big deal for you, my friend.
News. Thank you.
Let's go into this digital short. Say what you want to say. This Brave song by Sarah Bareilles. Excuse me, I can't poop while you're in here, and you're just doing your hair, so get the F out!
Yes.
I knew that would be your favorite bit.
I love this.
Danny loves toilet humor.
It's not even just the toilet. I just love that this is about...
It's totally the aspect that there's a toilet involved.
Okay, maybe a little bit because there's a toilet involved.
Such a boy.
But I love this. Did you not?
No, I loved it. This was one of my highlights. I thought it was
the best sketch.
Are we going to highlight Low Light Tribute this episode?
Yeah, well, we can. I loved it. My favorite bits was the use of great slow motion. I just thought that was a great...
Okay, what was the best slow motion? I know mine. Do you want me to tell you mine while you think about it?
Obviously.
My favorite slow motion is Kate McKinnon when she puts her legs up on the chair and circles.
Oh, yeah.
That was my favorite slow motion.
I liked the name thing where she's like, wait, what is your name? Because I do that all the time. I've been in so many situations where I'm like, I've known this person too long that I can't go back and ask their name.
You can't.
And I'll go, oh, this is my friend Katie. And I'm like,
Katie, say your name. Katie, say your name.
and then like Katie will go, hey. And I'll just go, hey. And I'm like, duh! Like, social etiquette. Introduce yourself with your name.
Yes.
So I thought that one was great. And the line where she said, I don't care about what you're talking about, and I never will.
And I never will. Yes. Did it make you kind of want to do it?
Yes.
Oh, 100%. And I love that it starts at a place where you think like, oh, it's totally justified being a brave woman. And then it just ended up being like, Kyle did it, and I just like love the degree that it went down to just being like, I don't care about what you're talking about. Like, I'm trying to poop, get out of here. Like, it made me want to have permission to just go literally say what I wanted, unfiltered, and then have a slow motion moment to Sarah Bareilles.
And a fist pump at the end.
I want to challenge you guys to do that at some point this week.
Okay.
And when we come back in a couple weeks, and you guys listening, I want you to have a moment, be brave, say what you want to say, remember it, and tweet us. We want to hear these stories, and we'll read off some of our favorites in a couple weeks.
Yeah, your honesty moment.
I like this.
Yeah, be brave.
For the permission.
Say what you want to say. Kind of like, let's use the hashtag ABTVSNL when you tweet it to us, kind of like Jimmy Fallon does when you tweet it in. So this is the topic. I want you to be brave. Say what you want to say. Tweet us the story, and we're going to read our favorites on the air.
I can't wait to read what everyone does.
You have Scout's Honor from Danny Hoyt. I will do this. And I will tell you, I will probably do several, and I'll give you some stories. So
I hope I'm not on the receiving end of your guys' ones. I need to be bubble wrapped.
Kim, I've been meaning to tell you. It starts now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Hey guys, stop talking.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
I see what he did.
There you
say
go.
what you want to say, unless it hurts our feelings.
Hurts your friends. 50 Shades of Grey press room. Kyle Mooney is a middle school student asking Dakota Johnson about the film she's playing herself. She expects softball easy questions, but he comes in with some hardcore queries. What did you guys think of this?
I think... Oh, sorry, you go first. Kim.
It took me a minute. And then I got really into it because of his character. And then I really enjoyed it. And I think at the end of it, I was laughing out loud and just shaking my head like, it's so silly.
Yeah.
That was my reaction.
Kimberly?
He's your favorite, isn't he?
Kyle Mooney is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I get his humor is in my wheelhouse.
So I think now that I'm learning about it and I've gone back and watched some of his other stuff, I find him a lot funnier now. So when he brought some of that rhythm into this sketch, I was like dying. Like, acting equals pretending.
Got it.
Ice Cube was cold.
Readers are gonna love this.
Yes.
I really liked the tag at the end of it because I think it opens a bigger conversation.
Which tag?
The tag of I had sex with Buzz.
Yeah.
As the press thing. Because I think it does. It opens a bigger conversation of the fact of like that isn't what it was, but that's how these things work and press junkets work. Like,
very good point.
Completely how they're interpreted.
I found that aspect of it really funny. Being on the receiving end of having that happen to me before, seeing the background of how those stories come about and how ridiculous. So I liked this for personal reasons too, of like, that's the best thing.
I'm going to reference the newspaper thing at the end, the press that it comes out in the paper in a later sketch. So mark this. Remember that I'm saying this right now. Yeah, mark this. I'm going to reference the fact because I agree with you. Okay. And there's a point to it. Okay. But I did love this. I think my favorite part was when he goes, I love a popsicle. What's your favorite dessert? She goes, I like pie. He's like, my readers will love that. Like, he keeps talking about his readers. He's in 5th grade or whatever, 7th grade.
Middle school.
Kyle Mooney plays a lot of similar characters, like this awkward, I can't all the way talk straight, and I have weird rhythm when I speak and do funny things and awkward with my body. This was something I haven't seen him do. And I kind of love this. It was like a 7th grader that's like bigger than a 7th grader. Yeah. So like an out of shell, immature kid. And I haven't seen him do this on anything. And you guys that watch the show and see me for a couple of years now, you know that I love Kyle Mooney and Beck Bennett and their humor. So this was something new I haven't seen from him in a way. And I think he's growing. Yeah. And I had you guys watch this, so I'll just talk about this now. There was a tag that SNL, I'm going to look here, Marissa. I always look at the wrong camera. It's my fault. There was a tag on SNL's YouTube channel of a sketch that Kyle did where he brought in something he developed before he was on SNL. It was with Good Neighbor, where he awkward interviews people on the street. He interviews people as himself, as Kyle, but people have no idea who he is. So I want you, if you guys get a second, if you want to see this, it's 3 minutes long.
It's worth it.
He interviews
Definitely
people.
worth it.
It's on the day of the 40th anniversary special, literally right in front of Rockefeller Center, and he's asking people about the special. People have no idea, A, who he is, B, who's on the show. Some guy doesn't even know. He's like, Saturday Night Live? I don't know. It's fantastic. And then at the end, he changes directions with calling out to Lauren, saying, keep me on the show. I can do better next year. It's midway through the season,
Yeah.
Kyle. Like, you're still on. It was just, it was gold.
You got it.
I showed them, I showed Katie and Kimberly earlier
great.
today, and they loved it. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Check it out.
The next sketch, the literally can't even sketch.
Can't.
Just talk to me about it, because I have some thoughts on this. I'll go last.
I find Valley funny.
Yeah.
You call it Valley?
Well, like the Valley can't. Like I literally can't. Like
It's like today's Valley Girl.
I guess both Katie and my sisters kind of.
We're all kind of maybe guilty of it. I won't lie. Yeah. I guess there was a little bit of seeing this and going, oh no.
This is what we sound like.
We sound like this. Even we were out with a friend over the weekend and I heard that so many times. At one point she showed us a picture and she's like, you are going to die.
Yeah, and I was like, I literally can't.
Like, it took me out of it to go, like, in any other situation, if you heard that, you would think that they were being a crazy person. But in reference to, like, you'll love this so much that you'll die. So we're those people. And I was able to laugh at it and be like, yep, that's us, so that's great. But I loved that it took the turn and you saw 80 with the broken arms. And for me, that's when the sketch got really enjoyable. Because I think the joke got old after a certain, like, I want to can, but I just literally can't jokes. Because it's funny until a certain
There
point.
had to be another beat. And I agree with you. I was hoping, almost hoping for one more. Like, there was only one extra beat. I don't think falling out of the window was enough for me, but I still liked it.
But the best part of it was when she falls out the window and what did she say? I feel everything.
But I'm still alive.
Because it reminded me, and we looked at each other because one of our favorite Will Ferrell moments is his role in Austin Powers. He has this tiny role that's so memorable, and when he falls down the cliff and he's like, is anyone there? The wound is beginning to smell a little like almonds. Like, he's like doing yell backs.
I've broken my other leg.
Let me try. Oh, no, it's definitely broken. Does anyone have a Band-Aid?
I've been shot, but I'm still alive.
Yeah. So
that's what we thought of. So we really enjoyed that.
I thought that she was making a play to that. When she's like, I'm alive and I feel everything. So I enjoyed it.
And we have a tarantula, so we liked that there was a tarantula on her body and she was freaking out because we're like, oh,
spiders.
Just a tarantula.
Your thoughts?
I liked 80. I thought it was funny. I wanted to see one more beat. Like, I wanted to see someone come in and snap them into shape, or something. I want to see a boss come in and something happens and maybe like 80 flips and they all get real quiet and she like starts, I don't know, bagging on them. Something different. I don't know what it would be. These are off the top of my head, but I did like, it did change. It got funnier for me when she's like, no, but I literally can't. I'm actually using literally correctly.
Yeah.
So not a bad sketch at all.
Just do this. Just do this.
Just do this. That was funny. I was kind of hoping. Actually, now you say that, I had a thought when I think one of them was like, "Yeah, just go like this," and the other was like, "Yeah, just go like this." Cecily goes, "Yeah, just go like this." I was hoping they went around like a round robin,
and
like
kept
3 or 4 times,
more
and they kept giving examples of how she could get the spider.
That would have been good.
That would have been an extra element for me. That would have been like, God, that was
because
really
it was
clever.
A funny gag.
Yeah.
Just go like this, and she's like, "Yeah, just go like this." And I love Bobby to be like, "Yeah, just go like this." And it says like they keep one-upping each other.
That would have been good. Great suggestion, Danny. Very clever.
Alabama Shake Song 1.
Should we just combine both of their performances?
Yeah, let's do this. They have an album coming out in April, so this is ahead of their next album, Sound and Color. And the first song, "Give Me All Your Love," and the second song, "Don't Wanna Fight." I love Alabama Shakes.
Me too.
I said this last time they were on. I think they would be a great band to see live.
I've heard they are.
Yeah, I've never seen them live. I would love to. If you guys have, let us know. But I loved it. What about you guys?
I think she's got so much fire. Like, that was the thing I was noticing, is that everything around it was kind of minimal and simple, but that she, for me, is easy to watch because there's so much passion in the way she sings. I did write, like, everything seems so aggressive in the way that she's singing, but
But she can
really
pull it down when she pulls it down too.
Yeah, and I like the cadence of their music, and that it's really soft, and then it's in your face, and then they take it back and it's really soft. And I was telling Kim this week how I've had this sort of 70s revival of realizing, like, I love 70s music.
Yeah.
I don't know where, like, I just realized it, like, yes, this is something I love. And so I appreciate them because they've got this sort of bluesy rock thing that I love, and I think she's got such a powerhouse voice. Yeah.
Any thoughts, Kimberly?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not like a huge fan of them. I don't feel like they're in my life a lot, so I appreciated it as a performance, but I can't say I was holding out for it or I had any expectations going in. So, I mean, I enjoyed it, but I'm not like, whoa. But then I wouldn't know what I would be looking for specifically. So.
Well, let's move into Weekend Update. We got a lot to get through here still.
Yes.
So Weekend Update, the first joke about the dress. We all wondered when they were going to do it, when they were going to talk about it. They go right off the top with the joke about the dress. Yeah. I'm just going to clarify.
Yes.
Let's all clarify. Katie, what colors did you see?
I saw blue and gold. I was not in either camp. I saw both.
Kimberly, what colors did you see?
White and gold.
And I'm with Katie. I was not in either camp either. I saw blue and gold.
Really?
I know this has been overdone, so we don't have to spend a lot of time debating this, but yeah, I was right with you. I saw blue and gold. So,
Interesting. Okay.
Interesting.
Got it out of the way.
They got their joke out of the way about it. I was almost hoping that they would have done, like, had somebody come in with the dress and do something weird. Maybe Dakota wears it, but like a really like sleazy version, or like, you know what I mean? Like maybe they played it up like super big.
Well, they tried to make the Obama gag about it, I guess.
Yeah, which Michael Che, again, having him on Weekend Update, we've talked about this before, because him being an African-American man, he can make some jokes that if it was Cecily and Colin, they almost couldn't make. So
right.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like having him on Weekend
Oh, it helps.
Update.
He's fantastic. But let's go right into the first guest, because this is one of my favorite guests. Kate McKinnon as Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Did I skip something, Kimberly?
Well, I just really wanted to talk about Grimace for a second, because
what was the joke?
I love everything about this character, Grimace.
What was the joke?
So the joke was about Hillary Clinton saying that she wanted people to come into her warm purple space, and they go, yeah, just like Grimace into his windowless van. I think Grimace is a hilarious character because I spent a long time. So Grimace is one of the McDonald's characters. There's like Hamburglar, Ronald McDonald, Grimace.
Sure.
And no one knows what Grimace is. It's never been, like, he's a purple blob, but there's like groups of people who are adamant that he's an eggplant, and there's like a group of people who are adamant that he's a taste bud, and it's never been answered.
McDonald's has never come out and clarified.
No, so to me, anything about Grimace, because I've been in these camps, I'm like, I don't know what he is, and spent a lot of time in this world.
I didn't even know who Grimace was.
I know, and it hurts me because
Kim, when I was like, "Who's Grimace?" Kim just looked
paused
at me.
it and go,
I'm
offended.
sorry, you
like,
what?
What'd you say?
I don't know.
So I'm like a Grimace fan, because I'm like, what are you strange,
All right, so
shaped
Grimace
character?
fans, you can join in with Kimberly.
What
Kim
is
Crossman.
Grimace?
Plant, or is he a taste bud?
Interesting.
So anyway,
Marissa, do you know back there anything about Grimace?
I do not.
Okay.
No one cares, so we'll move right along, but I care, and maybe someone out there does.
Kate McKinnon, we all care, Kimberly. If you care about it, we care. Kate McKinnon as Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I freaking loved this.
Yeah.
Every 81-year-old, she goes, it's
good.
every 81-year-old's dream to I get to sit on a bench and judge people.
Yeah.
So good.
Her dance moves.
The dance moves, the one when she cut, the third dance, she cups her boobs, cups
then
like this. Yeah, and then holds one and shushes. They were so good. Like, those dance moves are what I would aspire to do if I wanted to do mockery dance moves. That's as best as it gets.
But it was, I mean, mockery dance that
like mockery dance, but
looked
still good.
really good still.
Yeah.
I thought it was such a good character, and I think it was nice too seeing Kate do a character that was like, her vocal register was a lot different than a lot of the characters that she does.
Yeah, like Angela Merkel and some of these other ones.
Yeah, because even when she is Eastern European, we're seeing pictures of Grimace right now on the computer screen.
But you liked her vocal differential?
Yeah, I thought it was really nice. And I guess that's a testament to why I like Kate so much, because she can do anything, and I keep seeing her do more and more things that are so different from each other, and I really liked that her vocal range was a lot different. That was my tag, other than it being hilarious and great.
Did you guys notice I noticed it right after this that Colin was reading way slower than normal. Did anybody notice this?
No.
He was talking and reading way slower than I've noticed him read before.
Oh,
it was noticeable to me.
Oh, I didn't notice
Maybe
that.
he was tired. You know,
Maybe he
just
got
give
a
Colin
note.
a break. Because sometimes maybe he
There-
just has a hard life and he isn't with the right person who comforts him. And
I'm not sure. It was just something I noticed. Anyways, I loved the joke about the llamas. This was, so in case you guys missed this last Thursday was a huge day
so good.
for the World Wide Web. Not only, well, the first thing that happened before the dress went crazy, these 2 llamas escaped, and there was a 2-hour debacle trying to catch these llamas.
So good.
And
Good for
yeah,
them.
good for the. So I mean, people were. You could watch this live online. So people around the world are watching this live thing. I'm getting
good.
Snapchats, I'm getting texts. People are tweeting about it. It was all over everything. And then about 4:30 in the afternoon Pacific time, the dress takes off. It was a Thursday full of nonsense that was perfect for a Thursday. So I was
That's
really
great.
excited to see what SNL did, and this joke for me was fantastic. When he says the llamas were safely returned to their prison of unwanted touching.
So good.
I like witch cackled at it. I was, again, I wasn't aware of this llama business. I don't know where I am in the world, just not present. But I thought it was hilarious. I wasn't expecting the joke to go anywhere because I was like, I don't know what's
funny
happening
'cause
in the
it's
news.
true.
And then they said it and I just took a minute and then like lost my shit a little.
So
I was
good.
really surprised at how funny I thought that joke was.
They had another good joke in it too, where they say rich girls will gentrify anything, which I thought was
Yes.
really funny too.
And they brought
They're
up the
talking
ISIS
about, like,
thing again.
yeah.
That
That's
was
right.
really present in the episode.
Well, yeah, it's present in the world.
In the world.
Next guest, Kanye West, where he raps "I'm Sorry." For me, this was okay. You guys?
I enjoyed it.
I thought I would hope and I assume Jay Farrell actually wrote those lyrics, which is cool. The last one where he talks about naming his daughter after direction. Yeah, I thought that's clever. For me, it was just, I don't know. It was okay.
I think for me, I like Riblet, and so
No, not Riblet.
No,
Kanye West.
No, I know that,
Oh.
but so like if I was looking at the Weekend Update as a whole with the 3 guests, I don't know. I didn't think
He gets
much
overshadowed
of
by
it. Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Oh,
We're
you know Riblet and
Join Day on
Kanye.
Tap.
Yes, yeah. She's way off.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of jokes you can make in the apology to Beck thing. I thought it was really weird the way Kanye did it. Maybe they have Jay Farrell just come in and like say something and apologize to Jost and then just leave. I thought the rap was overdone. It drew out the Weekend Update.
Yeah.
'Cause
Definitely
Riblet's-
made it longer.
Well, and Riblet's thing alone was one of the longest guests, and we'll get it. Let's talk about this now.
Yeah.
Riblet's one of the longest guests I've seen.
You hadn't seen him before, though, right?
I just kind of forgot about it, to be honest
Okay.
with you. But it was long. I liked it though.
His bit
I
the
like
last
it.
time was long too. Though
This
I
was
think.
clever.
Every
yeah.
time he pronounces a word incorrectly, I'm like,
A jorb.
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 Hard at work.
It was a new
liked it.
dimension, and I thought it was good. I will say this: the part when I can't remember what the joke was, but Colin says a joke, and Che looks over and says, "So dumb." After Colin says it, like
Yeah,
no
I
one
remember
laughed,
that.
and Che goes, "That's so dumb." I loved this, and I'll tell you why. I don't know if that was played in. I think Che just said it in more of like a teasing, but like maybe it was Colin's joke, and they had a battle backstage in the writers' room. Like, it's not gonna be funny. Nobody's gonna laugh.
Oh,
Then he says it,
gotcha.
and he's like, "So dumb." Like I told you. I want to see them battle each other a little more, like develop their own personas and a reason why we're either Team Che or we're Team Colin.
Yeah.
And I think this for me was like maybe the beginning of that.
I hope so. I think Michael Che has a lot more energy to him than Colin does.
Yeah.
I think Colin's
He's got a
always-
mystique.
He's very smart and he's always stiff and he has a way of delivering things that are funny in his way, but they don't have like a dynamic duo like I've seen with Amy and Seth or Amy and Tina. I think there were people at the desk who really interacted well with each other, and you could tell they had so much fun sitting there with each other for that point in time.
Yeah.
I feel like they feel really separate to me, and I enjoy them both separately, but it would be nice to see.
Yeah, you're right. Like
that build.
if it could almost get to that point of passive aggression, or like
which is
see that
fun.
relationship dynamic change. A bit,
I would like to
step
see
it
them
up.
in like, I know that, was it Jimmy Fallon and Amy, or Seth and Amy used to do the, they would each like take a turn of like saying a joke and like try to one up each other. I would love to see more of that dimension.
Yeah.
And I think the Riblet thing being attached to Che almost as like, hey, this is your friend. Like I think they could have done another joke. Colin's like, your friend's like almost like playing back at Shay because that was his friend from high school. So
well, someone said that the next panel, when I was looking at some comments, that the next news that it should be Riblet and the Ruth character, like that they should do the weekend update together,
and just not tell anybody, just do it. Like,
that would be amazing. That was like someone's suggestion. I was like, that would be.
And they should have on Shay and Colin as like.
Oh, how smart
that'd be great.
That?
Yeah.
Whoever you were, great idea.
Great idea. So overall, good weekend update. I think Kanye got overshadowed because Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Riblet were so good.
They were better.
Let's go into this hospital sketch. This hospital sketch, for me, took over the Cinderella sketch as the worst sketch of the night. Kenan plays Worf, a surgeon in an emergency room who comes in dressed as a Trekkie. And with this sketch, Cinderella is now off the hook as the worst sketch of the night. Your opinions?
I did not understand it, and I did not think it was funny, and I felt like Dakota was laughing at it in this moment.
So was Kenan.
In a way that it was just like, what was happening? The only funny moment to me was when Vanessa Bayer came in and was like, wait, were you the last thing my grandfather saw? That, to me, was a funny moment of being like, oh, how horrible if that's the last person you saw. But that was it. It was so
kind
odd.
of weirdly morbid. That was like, even the premise of it is weirdly morbid. Like, oh yeah, Star Wars guy at your death. I don't know. Like, I don't know how that idea was birthed. I looked it up. And what people were saying about it, because I was like, I don't get it, and I'm not a follower of Star Wars, so maybe there were like more gags in it that I didn't get.
It's Star Trek.
Yeah. Star Trek, sorry. Well, there we go. Obviously, you don't understand. But someone said Kenan was noticeably absent in this episode. Is this meaning that his foot is out the door already?
Well, there's been a lot of talk that this is his last season. He's the longest running cast member on the show as of now. There's a lot of talk this is the last season. I don't think you can make that judgment based on this sketch or even tonight. No. I think you have different, like Vanessa Bayer wasn't very present in this sketch either, and you have some where she's a lot. A couple episodes ago, Adie Bryant was in like one sketch for one thing, and she's a premier person. So I don't think you can make that judgment. I will say about this sketch, Leonard Nimoy passed away this week, who played Spock in the original series in 1966. He's actually the only original cast member who was in every single episode of Star Trek, all the way up until the reboot in 2013, so just a few years ago.
Do you know all of this, or did you research it?
Well, I actually wrote the news story on it.
Oh, you did? I was like, I had no idea that you were...
Friday morning. So, yeah. Well, and my dad was very into... He watched a lot of Star Trek, so Star Trek was on my house. So, for me, it was kind of a surreal thing to write this story, and apparently there was a tribute. I missed it. And so if you guys saw that, there was a tribute that Kenan did to Leonard Nimoy and to Spock, the Spock family, because his big thing is live long and prosper. Sure. And so I missed it. So if you guys saw that, let us know what it was. And I think that would have saved it for me. I think the sketch wasn't funny. I think it's weird that they went on with the Star Trek sketch in a week when arguably the most famous Star Trek face passed away. And it's a sketch about Star Trek and death. I thought that was a little weird for me.
I think they've had a couple moments of trying to go, cool, this happened, we're going to talk about it. Like they did that when Joan Rivers passed, and the sketch was not funny in my opinion. It was just uncomfortable. And so I think they make an attempt to be like, we're gonna do it, and it'll be an ode to, but it ends up being a little like, no, maybe next time don't, and just put up a picture like we love them, and here's I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just gonna move on. It was just like
we're over it.
Yeah, it made me feel weird. Like I didn't want to laugh at it because I wanted to. It just wasn't right for me. So, the net neutrality, net effects. Sashir plays Jennifer Owens, who basically moderates this group of people talking about net neutrality, which is an issue. I know that there were some things past. Like that was the funniest part for me. Like the steeple, and here's all the people, and like stick your finger in it. Did you guys like this sketch?
No.
Well. I liked some of the lines. It's good to be out of the house. That was funny.
Yeah, some of the character moments were nice. I think overall I was bored by it.
Well, apparently it was a plug for The Slap at 8 p.m. on NBC.
Oh.
So apparently it's a commercial essentially.
Which I'm still not entirely sure how you base an entire comedic series off a slap that happens, and then the whole series takes place after they literally slap.
Is that literally the pilot?
I mean, yeah, that's what someone said, that
Interesting.
It was basically just a plug for another NBC show.
Interesting. Huh. Well, I thought it was very okay. It didn't really make sense all the way. Yeah, so
I think it says it in that, actually.
yeah. Then we had the Alabama Shake song too, and then we go into the Kyle Mooney and Beck Bennett Mr. Riot Films sketch where they're trying to help people. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me your feelings. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What did you like about it?
I enjoyed it. I put bad at doing PSAs. It was my cue for me, I guess. That's not helpful. But I enjoyed it, like, and the progression of it too. My favorite was him dressed as a woman. And like they're even kind of talking softly too, like, and there's just passersby, and they're not even really close to the people walking by for him to be like, "Hey, sir, did you not just see that he was being mean to a woman?" And the guy's like, "No comment."
Kyle Mooney was laughing when he was. He had a mini beard, and he's laughing because this was so ridiculous. Okay, your guys' opinion. These look like actual hidden camera shots, and then afterwards they got permission to use.
I hope that is.
I hope so. I loved this. Kid debt is lost. You just walk past this kid is like
even the title
dog.
cards were so good.
I like their energy. It made me feel kind of like, not that youth pastory, but kind of, you know, like people trying to get people on board, like their rhythm with each other. I loved this. I thought it was very, very funny.
It was a good episode for him and both
this was
of them,
a
I guess.
great episode for Kyle. Yeah, both of them, but for Kyle specifically, like it was a great episode. He was in a lot of things and he did a great job. If you guys were in a cafe and some guys from SNL did like a hidden camera prank on you and then asked you to use it, would you say yeah?
Yeah,
of course.
Do you think there's some people who said no?
Of course, I've done this before. I've been on comms and had to serve people at a movie theater.
What was the name of that show?
Told Jono and Ben. So I've had comms in my ear and had to like do what they tell me to. You guys have a show like that here, don't you?
Well, actually, they just started a new one.
Guys or something.
Repeat After Me.
No, there's one. It's the Impractical Jokers. It's been on for like 4 or 5 seasons. So they do this.
That same kind of thing. So I've had to do that before, and we got some great interactions. But when people, and they don't know that it's being filmed until after, a producer will go run after them and make them sign a waiver. But yeah, I've had that happen before, and some of the greatest interactions, people are like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know I was being filmed. I want nothing to do with this." There was one guy who was there with someone who wasn't his wife, so he's like, "Absolutely not." So,
oh no.
So yeah, I'm sure they would have done so many more, and then people can't use it, which is unfortunate.
I would be all for it, but then I mean,
of course.
That is the episode. Best sketch of the night for me is still between the Brave thing and Weekend Update. So
Brave was my favorite.
Yeah,
I think Brave, and then the Mr. Riot.
Yeah, I think those will get some traction for sure. Yeah. Coming up in 2 weeks, March 7th, we have Chris Hemsworth making his SNL debut along with Zac Brown Band. So this will be a good one. I'm excited to see. Let's go into news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay, so we have a little bit of news and gossip, and we're gonna start doing something new. For those of you guys who are listening, we're gonna kind of talk about some things that are funny, that are relatable to the world of comedy and SNL that we found. Just real quick little things. So, I want you guys to talk about kind of. I know that Kimberly, you had arguably one of the biggest weeks of your life. Some stuff you can and can't talk about. I don't even know, but. What can you tell us?
Well, I can't. I booked a pilot, but I can't say what it is right now. But it's very exciting, a comedy. And I also auditioned for Jimmy Fallon's pilot. I didn't even know that he was producing one for NBC.
His Guys with Kids didn't get a pickup last season, which I love. So he's got a new one.
Yeah, and I read it, and I think it could work. It's basically, it's called Sharing or Shared, and it's about like a shared office workspace of like small startups and things. And I feel like the characters are really strong, so I'm really interested to see how it will go. But it's a great script and a cool concept, so I'm hoping that it will go ahead.
That's awesome.
That's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
All right.
I heard something interesting this week, which is cool for me because I'm a part of the Second City community. It's like my Second City family.
For those of you guys that don't know, Second City is an improv school here in LA and also Chicago.
In Chicago, Tina Fey came from Second. Pretty much, Stephen Colbert, a lot of people. And I heard that NBC is teaming up with Second City to do a big diversity program. Which is huge because that's been a conversation at SNL as well, why there isn't more diversity. And so they're teaming up together to try and change that. And it's huge. people at the LA campus are always talking about it too, and I think it's a really big, exciting forward movement for them and the whole comedy community at large.
I want to show you guys this video that I came across this week. I know these people, and I think this is the funniest thing. I've never seen this. This little guy, his name is Z-Max. I'm only going to show you about 20 seconds. Marissa pulled this up. You can go ahead and hit play. He put a GoPro on his head. His parents are recording this, and I think we're going to show you about 20 seconds here. So yeah. So he's got a GoPro on his head. He says, and action. And he goes by Z-Max, so he's running really fast. His GoPro on his head to make this video. And...
Oh!
But wait. Oh. It looks worse than it is, and if you keep watching the video, you can look up Z-Max GoPro fail.
Look at that face of determination.
He doesn't get hurt, and then once he realizes that by putting gauze and bandages on his head, people want to know the story, and they get sympathy, and it became his favorite thing to tell people. I think this is absolutely awesome. So I love finding little things like that on the internet.
Wow.
So that's really cool. If you want to look up more videos on Z-Max, you can search the hashtag on Instagram, #HowToZmax. I spent about an hour watching these yesterday, so that is it for the show.
Yes, thank
you. Guys, where can we find you?
I'm Katie Wilbert, and you can find me at Katie Wilbert on Twitter and Instagram and everywhere else.
Yes, and I'm Kimberly Crossman, and you can find me at Kim Crossman.
I'm Danny Hoyt. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Danny Hoyt. You can follow me on Snapchat now.
I know, I was about to say, and
Hoyt,
Snapchat.
47. I do little vines. I host The Bachelorette on Mondays here as well, and I have another show on the YouTube called Show MG. SH. Oh my God. For Katie and Kimberly and AfterBuzz and Marissa, thank you so much for producing.
Thank you.
I'm Danny Hoyt. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Woo.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.